Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to continue a theme of new things in the new year, and we're going to talk about healthy living or healthier living. My guest is Alvean Lyons, our Healthy Families Consultant.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks for 2015.
Is there ever a time we all don't want to be healthier? But it comes to the, it comes to the forefront right now.
Well, I could say there are definitely times that I don't want to be healthier around dessert.
Short times.
Yeah, there are definite times that I don't want to be. And coming off of the holidays, I'm sure we were all a little rotten when it comes to being healthy per se. But it's not about doing everything perfectly all the time, but it is about balancing things out really well. And healthy living is really about balance. It's doing a little bit of everything pretty well, as opposed to doing any one thing perfectly. So we want to talk a little bit about that balance today.
That's a better way to look at it than the extremes, or by measuring it by pounds. I have to lose these 10 pounds by X.
Absolutely.
How many times have I failed at that? But
likewise.
So how do we go about that balance though? Because that's a less clear-cut goal.
Well, if we think about it like a triangle, which is a very, very strong and safe structure, people use it for lots of reasons symbolically, but the mind-body-spirit connection, really understanding how that plays out in our lives and being able to do a little bit on each of those fronts would make a huge difference in the overall health of our lives. So if we start with the mind concept, sometimes one of the things that we struggle with is the fact that we don't feel like we're growing as people in particular. Feeling stagnant or stuck in a space really creates some negativity and oftentimes even depression for that matter, when you just don't feel like your life is going anywhere in particular. And here you are doing the same thing, on the gerbil wheel yet again, and not feeling like you've accomplished anything new or have grown or progressed in any kind of way. And then when you think about the effect that that has on children who we are modeling what adulthood should look like, there is definitely a level of pressure that we feel to get it together or to do it better. So when we think about it from the mind-body concept, mentally, invest in learning something new, developing some new skills, things that could potentially be useful for you, whether it's to increase what it is that you're accomplishing professionally, whether it's to increase what you're able to accomplish personally, because sometimes it's not even what we're doing at work. Work may be fine, but we may be really struggling with how things are going at home. So doing something as simple as even taking a Healthy Families class. So you've learned some new skills even for how you're going to interact with the people that you care most about. You now have something that you could be proud of. It's a new win. So your mind is active and you're developing in a different kind of way that makes you feel like you're growing again. And that feeling is such a rich experience. Like for me, I want to learn another language. I want to know how to communicate, since that's what I do all the time. I want to learn how to be able to communicate with more people. So on my list of things that I want to do for 2015 is to begin to work on developing competency in a new way to communicate. So I feel that I've developed something as a person, but simultaneously I'm able to take that thing and make it useful or to use it in service to others. So do something for your mind this year that makes you feel like you're actually growing.
And that's important. We get stagnant. If you have young children and sometimes all of your energy is going to them and you're not learning or growing, and it's, wonderful work, but it's a drudgery. Or if you're at a plateau point in your career where you're not moving up, or if you're retired and you're not doing that career thing anymore, you just need to be excited like you were in college. Maybe not all the way back.
Absolutely.
To pick up a new degree, but to learn something.
It's true.
Taking a class is the easier way to do it because you make that commitment, you show up, the instructor helps you through it, and Healthy Families has a tremendous array of classes.
Absolutely.
You can find them on the Hampton.gov website. It's a good time to look. We also offer Diversity College, and I'm going to throw that one out.
That is true too.
It doesn't sound like it from the title, but it teaches you new ways to interact and listen and understand other people. And people might think it's all about the race or the color of your skin.
And that's not it. I'm glad you said that.
It's gender, it's age, it's generational. There's so many different aspects to that.
I love that you said that, because diversity college is also a really fantastic thing to do. And the fact that you're pointing out that it really has very little to do with racial issues. Race is just such a secondary element in so many things.
But cultural is different.
But culture is different.
As you say, chocolate people have many different cultural aspects.
Exactly. And there's so many.
White people do too.
I agree. Except I call you guys vanilla.
Of course you do.
Because everybody loves ice cream.
With the chocolate.
Exactly. Everybody loves ice cream. So I agree too, that there's so many ways that we may find that we share things in common versus more ways that we are different. It's just, there's so many facets to who we are as people that the word diversity is really just about those various facets.
Right,
it's not necessarily about the package per se, because really you may have something more in common with someone who looks totally different than you than 900 other people that look just like you. So let's not get caught up in those things at all, but instead understand the richness of learning something new.
It's exciting
with more
time.
people and different kinds of people, which is always going to be helpful in life, because there's no time in this life besides birth and death that you are by yourself. Everything else is really done with other people. So developing skills that make us better humans, because that's all we all are. The packaging is insignificant. It's the human experience that we share together. Being able to do that even better, that's a fantastic way to add to the growth and the development of the mind, which ultimately changes how we feel about ourselves as people. You are not stagnant anymore. You have moved forward. You may not be able to control your paycheck. You know, we all would love the great raise. That is true, and deserve it even. But that does not change the fact that we can continue to grow as people, despite the fact that we can't control some of the growth that happens around us. We can totally control the growth that happens in us. So the mind is important. Then let's shift to the body, which is always important. We talk about it all the time. We joke about it as women constantly. Taking care of yourself matters. You've got to eat well. And the thing that goes so underestimated but is so important, you've got to sleep well.
Ooh, that is such a hard one.
It is.
And the
so
older I
important.
get, the less well I sleep. It's like,
it's true.
I can't sleep in, I wake up at night, and if I wake up, my mind just goes off, you know?
It's true. It's true. It's literally like all of your thoughts are waiting at the door, and as soon as you wake up in the middle of the night to get that sip of water or to go to the restroom, they all come rushing in. And you can't get them back out. So you're there with 200 thoughts hanging around your bedside, and it's not even 3 o'clock in the morning yet. So we're not doing a good job of resting. And the fact is, people do not pay us for our endurance. They pay us for our judgment. And if you're not getting rest, you are not making your best choices. Your judgment is always affected by being tired. The kind of job that we do as parents is greatly affected by fatigue levels. We both know that we're better mommies when we've gotten some rest. Your threshold for teenage stuff is so much higher when you're rested. But when I'm already exhausted, your dumb idea drives me crazy. But when I'm rested, I can say, okay, you're a teenager. I'm going to count to 10 before I respond to that. And now I can say to you that that is not a bright idea. Instead of saying to you, that's the stupidest thing I have ever heard.
And you really don't want to say that to your boss either.
No, not a good idea.
It's bad enough to say it to your kid.
Not a good idea at all. But you want to be rested. Your judgment is so much better when you're rested. And the National Sleep Foundation always talks about the importance of getting sufficient sleep. Our young kids need 10 to 11 hours of sleep.
Well, and also you need to unplug. You can't fall asleep at night if you've been on the office email and checking all this and checking Facebook and just blah, 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 blah up until bedtime, because you've got to have some downtime. That's what I'm learning, is how to unplug at night before that.
It's so important. And you heard me mention this previously in another segment that we had done together, but you could tell what book I'm reading, which is Thrive by Arianna Huffington right now, just because I really was so interested in her measure of success and her reflection about what it cost her. And really, how can we do a better job of achieving the things that we want in a more balanced way, which is really what the book was talking about. And one of the things that she said she does, she Mrs. Huffington, one of the most influential people in the world, she escorts all of her technology out of her room at a certain time every single night because she said it is impossible for me to shut down if I'm still doing what you were just saying.
Right.
I'm responding to emails, I'm hearing the text messages go off, the phone rings at God knows what hours in the middle of the night. All of those things interfere with your ability to shut down. So she said, I literally take it out of my room and I make sure that every light is turned off. And the only thing that I have in my room prior to going to sleep is a book. Just the paper, the gentle paper.
That is my new a book or a magazine.
Something very simple that when you close it, it is finished. But you don't have a light that is glaring at you saying, read me.
Right.
Check out the latest
Or the blue
Twitter,
lights of a
whatever it
TV
is.
or a
It's
computer
true.
screen are supposedly among the worst.
It's true. So learning how to really unplug is very important in being able to actually rest. And remembering that we as adults, despite the fact that we've learned how to function off of 4 and 5 hours, that's not good for us.
It runs out.
We really need 8 hours of sleep.
While, but it's just not
But
optimal.
eventually it is not. And if it doesn't take the toll on you professionally, it's going to take the toll on you personally, sooner or later, because your physical well-being is affected by that. The body has to sleep long enough to begin to heal itself and to regenerate and to recover from all of the output during the day. Your sleep is input. The combination between eating well and sleeping well is the ultimate input for the body. So you want to make sure you're doing those two things. And they're often the first 2 things to go from our list when we get busy. I don't stop to eat a decent lunch. And at night, I'm still doing work from the day, so I'm not resting either. Bad habits. You have to give yourself the opportunity to be your best self by allowing yourself to shut down. So for 2015, I need you to take care of your body. And then finally, the spirit. The things that we believe in this world, whether it's in giving, loving, being helpful, serving, participating, those kinds of things are some of the richest parts of who each of us are as individuals. And it doesn't matter whether it's about our faith in terms of our religious beliefs or whether it's about our faith in terms of our personal beliefs. Both of those are equally merited. But the trick is to make sure that we're living in a way that we're expressing those values. So getting involved in your community, whether it's through service for the homeless, whether it's in your local faith organization, whether it's in community activities that support the youth in your communities because you want a better future for Hampton Roads. We want a better future. We have to make sure that we're doing things that show that we're living from the inside out, that our lives reflect our value system. And when we value both ourselves and each other, there should be something in our lives that shows that it's not just me saying that this is important, but it's me acting in a way that shows that these things really matter. It's hard to convince somebody that one of your core values is staying healthy while they watch you smoke and drink every single day, because it's incongruent. If I say to you that taking care of people and being there for people matters to me, and I'm the one person you can never ask for a donation, and never ask me to inconvenience myself to participate in something that's going to benefit somebody else, there is incongruence between what I'm saying and how I'm living. When we're changing, when we're growing as people, we need to make things congruent, make them match. So if I say to you I care about something, then I should act my caring. If I say to you I love something, then I should act my love. All of those things are so valuable, particularly as parents, because we are constantly modeling what it means to be a quality human being to our kids.
Okay. Now see, we start this in the New Year's realm of things, healthy living so often equates to how can I exercise? And what you've done is really take a step back from that and say, how can I have a healthier lifestyle in a whole lot of ways?
Absolutely. It's a holistic approach to things. It's a little bit of multiple things that makes for a great life. It is not, like I said, it's not doing any one thing perfectly, but just doing lots of little things a little bit better. Ultimately, that's going to get you more in the end, because it's not enough to be a fantastic surgeon or an amazing teacher, but it's at the sacrifice of your body, your family, your friends, the things that you value and care about, all of those things. It sounds good that you have this great firework of an experience in one element of your life, but ultimately the healthiest, happiest people are the people who have balance. They're doing lots of little things well. And those are the things that model great ideas, great ways of doing things for our kids. And that's the kind of stuff we want as adults.
All right, so that's what we're going to work on. I'm going to go back through this just to remind folks. Mind, and that means learning something. Whether it's learning to swim, learning a language, taking a course, or even reading can be learning.
Absolutely.
I mean, but stretch yourself and learn something new.
And feel that growth again.
And that excitement of growth. Okay.
Body,
which can mean exercise, but it also means eating right and getting enough sleep and all those things that sound boring, but are very core important things.
Absolutely.
So that you can do your best physically. And then spirit, which could mean, whatever your reflecting whatever your values
whatever
are.
They
whether
are.
It's a religious perspective or a life goal, belief perspective.
Absolutely.
Acting on those.
Absolutely.
Don't just talk about it, but act on it. You'll feel better. It models to your children what you think are important values that you would like them to adopt as
Absolutely, because healthy adults create healthy kids. We have to take care of us in order to ensure that we're going to be the best representation for them, for who they are meant to be. It's so much more important that we live what we want as opposed to just talk about what it is that we want with our kids.
And remembering that what we want is a constant state. It's not a goal that's out here that we're going to get to.
Absolutely.
We have to be who we need to be while we're getting wherever it is we're going.
It's the journey.
It is.
It's not the destination. There's no such thing as perfection. No such thing. Believe me, I've tried. There's no such thing. But there are lots of really good things that really good people do that make for really good outcomes. And they're small, but they're consistent. And that is what changes all kinds of things, whether we're talking about it personally, professionally, as parents, as partners. It really doesn't matter what we're measuring. It is the small, consistent effort, leaning forward, that makes a huge difference in the total outcome.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robin, and I hope everybody has a fantastic new year with a couple new things.
Well, and this is a really important time too, because it's the end of January-ish, and people who maybe started out the year with specific goals and incentives and things we said we were going to do are realizing that's hard. So maybe what we do now is take what Alvean's saying and try to take those small measured steps that make the journey better and not worry as much about exactly what that outcome is.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, and best of luck to you in trying this new approach to being a healthier and having a healthier year. Thank you.